Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Game of Thrones Season 6 predictions for Samwell Tarly. This video is a part of a series of videos where I predict what will happen in Season 6, focusing on a different character every week. This video is for my predictions for Samwell Tarly. So I have to give a spoiler warning for Game of Thrones up to Season 5, a spoiler warning for the Song of Ice and Fire novels on which Game of Thrones is based, and a spoiler warning for casting, filming, and production leaks for Season 6. If you don't want to know anything about what's been confirmed for Season 6, this video is not for you. So these predictions are all just wild stabs in the dark, as I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen in Season 6, so I just have a few filming leaks and what little is left in the books that the show hasn't covered yet to go on, so I don't expect to get more than 20% of these predictions correct, and if I do, I'll consider it a resounding success. So, as we know from last season, Samwell, Gilly, and her baby are headed to Old Town. But the question seems to be, will we see their journey there, or will they simply start the season in Old Town? In the books, Samwell traveled to Old Town via boat and stopped by Braavos on his way, where he encountered Arya Stark. So some are wondering if we'll see that. One piece of news that we have, though, is that Sam will be stopping by his home, Horn Hill in the Reach, where we will meet his father Randall, his brother Dickon, and his mother and sister. And it has been confirmed that the scene where he first arrives home will appear in either episode 5 or 6, which surprised me because I thought he'd be going to Horn Hill much sooner. So the question is, will Sam go to Old Town before or after he goes to Horn Hill, which is connected to how he will travel to get there. If he traveled by boat, it would make more sense for him to go to Old Town first, and then he would have to make a detour inland to go up to Horn Hill. However, if he travels by land, then he could stop by Horn Hill on his way to Old Town. I feel if Sam appears in Old Town in the first several episodes, that means he would have to have traveled a very long distance in a short amount of time, which I wouldn't put past the show, as we've seen characters travel ridiculously long distances in a short amount of time before, and in this case, it's literally the opposite side of Westeros. Old Town is about as far from the wall as you can get and still be in Westeros. However, I personally feel that Sam will travel by land, because we saw Sam and Gilly leaving in Season 5 on a horse and carriage. While it's possible that they were just going to Eastwatch to catch a boat, I doubt it. Something tells me that the show will have them travel by land. And seeing that that's the case, what's the one area of Westeros where time seems to move much slower than all other regions, where there appears to be a time warp that slows everything down and makes people who travel through this area go at a much slower rate? That's right, I'm talking about the Riverlands. As we saw in Season 4, Arya and the Hound seemed to be trapped there, as it took them an absurd amount of time to get through the Riverlands to get to the Eyrie, while in the same amount of time, Littlefinger managed to travel to and from the Eyrie and King's Landing about 6 times. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but a lot. So, I believe Samwell's Season 6 storyline will start with him and Gilly traveling through the Riverlands on their way to Old Town. He'll probably first appear in episode 2 or 3, where we'll get some character building dialogue scenes with Sam and Gilly. Sam will decide it's impractical for him to take Gilly to Old Town with him, as he will be studying to become a maester. So this will create some tension between them, as he had previously told her that he would never leave her again. But he'll come up with a plan to drop her off at his family's house, where he thinks she'll be safe, and claim that Gilly's son is his. She won't exactly be pleased with this, and they'll argue about it on their way. However, as they are traveling and looking for somewhere to stay in the Riverlands, they will encounter a Septon and a hooded man, a grave digger, if you will, who they will meet and spend some time with. And yes, by Gravedigger, I'm referring to Sandor Clegane the Hound. Although the Hound is dead, Sandor is now the Gravedigger. And I don't think this will be on Quiet Isle, as the show often likes to turn specific locations in the book into just some generic area. But I imagine Sam and Gilly's encounter with Septon Maribold, or his show equivalent, and the Gravedigger will be similar as it was to Brienne's encounter with them in the books. Well, they'll stay with them for a day, and the Septon will tell Sam the story of how the Hound is dead. Of course, we the audience will know that the Gravedigger is the Hound, unlike in the books where it was left ambiguous. But Sam will have no clue, which is why I think the show will have Sam meet the Gravedigger and not Brienne, as it was in the books, because in the show, Brienne has already met the Hound and would recognize him instantly. Also would add an extra element because she was the one who's quote-unquote killed him in the first place, which would provide tension to the scene, which I don't think will be there. I think it's going to be important here when we first meet the Hound and get confirmation that he is still alive, that the character meeting him will have no idea who he is. At any rate, I now believe that Septon Maribold, or his show equivalent, will be played by Ian McShane. As in a recent interview, McShane said his character will be responsible for bringing back a character we haven't seen in a while, and I think he also mentioned something about his character being a character of faith. And there's been other reports that put him in the Riverlands, so that strongly makes me believe he will be him. However, in my Arya video, I said he would play a character that's in a town that's being terrorized by a group of outlaws, but I have since changed my mind, as in this interview he describes his appearance in Season 6 as a one-off appearance, so I believe he will only appear in the one episode where he encounters Sam and Gilly, and we will see the Gravedigger for the first time. I'm still holding on to my prediction, though, that the Hound, or the Gravedigger, will appear again in Arya's storyline towards the end of the season, just not Septon Maribold. And if you want to hear more about that, you can watch my predictions video for Arya. I'll put a link in the description below. Anyway, after seeing them a couple of times in the Riverlands towards the beginning of the season, Sam and Gilly will disappear for an episode or two, and then pop up in Hornhill in episode 5, in which they will go stop by on their way to Old Town. There's been reports that this castle here is being used for Hornhill, and there has been reports of a scene where Sam appears at home interrupting his family dinner. And Randall will of course be a huge asshole and will not be pleased to see him when he tells him about Gilly's baby being his. That will only piss him off more. However, with his mother's intervention, they will let them stay there for a night. However, when the talk comes up about Gilly and her baby possibly staying there, Sam's mother will warn him against making such a suggestion, and when Randall hears about it, he'll be outraged and go on a tirade against Sam, calling him a useless coward who beds wildling whores. Gilly will try to tell him about how brave Sam was, that he survived the battle with the wildlings, he killed a White Walker and fought off people who tried to rape her, but he won't care, and eventually will try to strike him. But Dickon will intervene on Sam's behalf and stand up for him. I do believe Dickon will ultimately stand up for Sam, as he never asked for Sam to be sent away like that, as that was always Randall Tarly's idea. And Dickon will help Sam get away and perhaps even arrange a place for Gilly at Old Town. So Sam and Gilly will arrive in Old Town around episode 8 and try to get settled in. Sam will start his training to become a maester and get to know a few people, but in episode 10 he will meet Tyrion Lannister, who will be on a mission to meet Maester Marwyn, whom Sam would have already met. So Sam will help out Tyrion and introduce him to Maester Marwyn, and that's how I think his season 6 storyline will end. And if you want to hear more about why the hell I'm thinking Tyrion will be in Old Town in season 6, you can watch my predictions video for Tyrion, which I'll put a link to that in the description below. So that's it for my season 6 predictions for Samwell Tarly. As I said, these are all just wild shots in the dark. I'll be happy if I get 20% of these right. Make sure you check out my channel for many more Game of Thrones videos, and be sure to check back here every Monday for a new Game of Thrones Season 6 prediction video focusing on a different character every week. And make sure you subscribe so you can keep up with all that. And thanks a lot for watching.